Hi everyone and welcome to McCool and the Gang, and this month's guest is Dan the Man, aka Dan Haggis. Woo!
Hello.
Hello. You do many things. You are a drummer, singer, songwriter, producer, drummer in the Wombats, and music man.
There we go.
And you do solo project, and you do another project called Sunship Balloon.
Yeah.
And you've written some songs with me for my album, which is dead exciting. That's coming out on the 30th of July.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for having me.
No props. Thanks for coming on. You know what? I had this in my head since, I suppose starting the podcast. You have guests that you'd be like, yes, Dan is coming on. And we're going to talk about the album and everything. So, yeah, it's been in my head for a while. So I'm really happy it's finally here. And I can't believe the album's out in 2 weeks. So that's just mental.
I know, it's so cool. Some of the songs have been, on our hard drives for a good,
4 years.
Is that how long it is?
I think so. Yeah, I think we wrote... No, it can't be that long.
No,
maybe 3 years.
2 or 3, maybe. I've lost all sense of time with the pandemic. I've absolutely no idea what's going on. I mean, I never really knew what was going on, to be honest, but even less now.
I know, right? Yeah, I can't believe, I was just saying, the album's out in 2 weeks, and I know you just said that, the songs have been around for a while, but it's just taken me that long. We met through quite, I think we were put together on an initial writing session, weren't we, by our management at the time, the Simons, and then we wrote Take Me to Your Leader. That was the first tune we wrote, which obviously is the lead track from my album.
Yeah.
Which just blows my mind. It's that's the first thing that came out. There you go.
Yeah, I remember you started playing on the whammy pedal thing. I was like, oh, check that whammy pedal out. And you started playing this really cool little, thing that ended up as the verse of that. And I remember,
6/4.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa, what is this? And I started playing along on the piano, right, okay, what is going on here? This is kind of interesting. And then, yeah, the song just seemed to write itself almost quite quickly, wasn't it, that day?
Yeah, it did. I love all the piano. Yeah, and I remember I've got a Whammy 5, so the pedal that you're talking about, I bought it.
Nice.
I need it in my life. It's mad. But
so
yeah, I think I can't remember much about the writing. I just remember some of the lyric ideas, and then I remember when you came up with the woohoo, I was like, that is amazing. That's great. We've got to use that.
No, but I think that song, it works. It's really interesting because it goes it's quite a moody, as you say, 6/4 the verse, and it's kind of going along, and then all of a sudden I remember it's this big opening out into a pretty euphoric poppy kind of chorus that the juxtaposition of those two things works really nicely. I remember thinking, oh, this is cool. It's it's always nice when you make something that you haven't heard before or doesn't feel like it's too conventional, but then it's easy to digest. I don't know. It's fun. But also, with regards to having things on hard drives for years, that is, that's constantly the way. We just released Method to the Madness, and we made that in 2019, nearly 2 years ago on a writing trip over in LA, and it was we were so excited about the song, and and it was similar. It just it fell out one day, and we were oh my god, started playing it to our manager and A&R and stuff, and they were wow, this is so cool. And here we are 2 years later, and the song finally comes out. So I think I don't know if people watching that, but that's quite a normal thing, isn't it? When you make songs, but it takes so long to actually finish an album, and obviously when a pandemic hits, which that pushes everything back because then you can't tour and So but I don't know about you, but the feeling of finally getting a song out that you made, it's just such a reward, isn't it? It's all the work that you put into it, and finally it's out there, and people can get their own thing from it, and you hear about what it means to them, and it's
odd though, because we were saying you've got to be careful about getting tired of the song yourself and keeping as excited as you were, because Take Me to the Leader, that's one of my favourite, I think it's my favourite tune of ours that we wrote, and it's definitely one of my favourites from the album. But, I've listened to it quite a lot. Not out of it's my song, it's so good, but more of different mixes and from a mastering perspective and production and all that. and you just hear it over and over again, and it's hard to keep that level of excitement and like, yes, it's brand new and you guys should listen to it, blah blah blah, because it's not brand new to you, and you're like, you get to this stage of like almost like, how do I get excited about it again?
I normally, I don't know about you, I normally obviously you listen to, when you're making it, then recording it, you analyze every little section so in such detail, and by the time you do release it, as you say, you've probably listened to the song like 50 to 100 times, and then which you apart from maybe your favorite songs in your whole life, you wouldn't really do that, but because it's you want it to be like the way you want it to be, and you get it there. I normally I'll listen to the album all the way through, and I'm checking the master, which I've just done, and then I'll listen to it usually like maybe the day it comes out as a kind of closure thing, and then often that's I won't listen to the album again for like potentially 5 years, 10 years, like our first Wombats album, until this like Tim's listening party thing. I know you did as well. Like until that, I hadn't listened to our first album honestly for probably like 10 years.
Wow.
And it was like, but it was so awesome to like listen to it again and be like, oh wow, it took me back, like so many memories came flooding back, and so but anyway, it's a lot of work goes into getting the albums out, doesn't it?
It does, and I feel like kind of it's quite pressured now, isn't it, with the idea of, as we were saying, cheap music is quite cheapened, and people are favouring single releases every blimmin' 10 weeks over album releases and like album campaigns, and like the idea of a concept that you would release and then tour, and then there's quite a big surge of singles and I just made this today, and like releasing it. It's kind of, I don't know whether I could do that. I don't know. I'd feel weird about that. Like I suppose like with me, I'd have to have a song and digest it before I knew what I would want to do with it. I don't know whether you feel the same. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think like that moment of how exciting it is when you do make a new song, to be able to kind of share that with people. I feel like maybe that there is a side where maybe streaming and stuff that's a real positive that, but maybe what you could do is like, pick a little, maybe do like an EP and just go like, right, over the next 6 months, whenever I feel like the song makes sense for this, I'm not going to overthink it. I'm just going to like, whatever comes out, when I'm excited about something, I'm just going to share that. And actually to see how that feeling, how that goes, like how, because sometimes, I don't know about you, but you can end up like almost overthinking a song so much that, as you say, you squeeze it so much that you almost lose like your focus or your perspective on the song. And so maybe there is something with just going like, right, this is a demo I just made, like, here you go. See what you think. It might not sound the best. The strings that we used on it are like the ones that were on the soft synth or whatever I had lying around in my room or the studio, but I'm not going to spend loads of money and loads of time getting it recorded properly, blah, blah. There's a different element, isn't there, to that bedroom recording kind of thing. And I think streaming's a great way, obviously, to be able to share that process a bit. And, but again, if you really love a song, then you're like, but maybe I do want to see it through.
Maybe I do want to record it properly. And,
because once it's out there, it's out there, isn't it? And you're not going to re-record it. Or you bring people along for the journey. I don't know if anyone's done this, where you release the demo straight away, and then you're like, right, this is where we're at with it. You're a part of our process. Of these like 20 demos that we've written, which ones do you reckon should be on the album, and make it like a kind of almost a community like or fan-led album? That's just thought of that now. That could be cool.
That's a good idea. Good idea.
Yeah.
But it's the fear of, when you have such like a pub, and this is kind of getting into like music industry marketing talk now, which I hate. But when you have such like a public face and free platform like Instagram or Facebook, really you can't. It's not very fan orientated because it's so public. So whatever you put out on there, anyone's going to see. So my fear is that I'd only want to put the best, like the final thing out, and leave the kind of more journey stuff. You know, if I wanted to make a group, for example, or like I've got a Patreon, for example, so I'd probably put it on there. But do you know what I mean? Like it's like like anyone can come on and look and listen.
Yeah. And
then I'd be worried that if it wasn't polished, but maybe that's just me being like a total control freak, because I'm aware that is true as well. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, now there's obviously, I don't know, there must be fan pages and stuff where you can release music, but not in, I don't know if Bandcamp, or, you know, is there another platform that does things like that where they could, like, you know, I don't know, put a box around, like, that you join this little, like, fan club thing, and then you get access to that stuff, maybe. I don't know, I'm thinking out loud here, to be honest, but
yeah, it's all good. I think Patreon's a great place to do that. I'm so glad that Patreon's a thing, because and you know, as we were talking earlier about kind of fixing the music industry with what came out today, it's all really positive. And you know, the more control that artists have and the actual creators have, the better the industry's going to be, because I don't know, we can't keep on cheapening art, and you know, something's got to give. Got deep fast, didn't it, really?
See how the government react to the recommendations they're given.
We will see.
Yeah, it's definitely a positive day.
Yeah, it is a good day. Round of applause for everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. So I know that we've worked together on writing stuff, and obviously, you know, the production has come a lot from the writing sessions as well. Like I remember, especially I think with all the tracks we've done, they've all kind of had that production, all the sounds there from quite early on. And I just wanted to kind of ask you how kind of important that is to you when you're writing, you know, and whether that's like the Wombats stuff or your own stuff. Like, is that always the case, or has it grown into that kind of, you know, when you write the track, you're almost kind of producing it at the same time as well?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think not every song, but in general, fairly early on, like I feel like I get an idea of the world it's in. So, you know, if I start something on a piano or a guitar or whatever, quite quickly I feel like it's nice to give it a world. You know, like that you want it to be like, right, this is the world it's going to live in, and I'm going to try and like, and then sometimes it's such a fine line between like the writing of the actual song and then the production. Sometimes the two things can kind of help each other along, you know, like as you might have a starting point that then, and you're like, wow, this feels so, I love the sound of it, which can then help you on the journey to finishing the song, which I feel like when we were making, you know, some of the songs, it was like the production aspect of something that, you know, like a sun going down, you know, like you started with that like keyboard thing, and then I started like programming drums around it, which, you know, and then that then leads to like how maybe you'd phrase, because if you hadn't had the rhythm there, then you might not know exactly how to phrase things over something that's kind of like, you know, it's taking your ear in a potentially multiple directions, but once you give it somewhere to live, then you kind of like, I think your brain can kind of go, all right, I know where we are now, okay, and then you start hearing melodies and, you know, other things that then I find that easy to start finishing the jigsaw. But don't get me wrong, there are still songs that, you know, I'd like almost like set yourself a challenge to completely finish, you know, from start to finish on a piano or on an acoustic or whatever. Keep it really simple and don't think about that. That can be really interesting as well. And then you just put the whole song down, and then you've just got this, like, you're happy with the song, and then you just go like, wow, right, let's have fun and see where we go with it. So that's like, I feel like with some earlier Wombat songs, you know, that would be the case where like Murph would come in with a sort of, I don't know, 80% finished song that he'd be like playing on an acoustic or an electric or a keyboard, and then me and Todd would listen and be like, oh wow, that's so cool, and then like you'd go play it one more time, and then you'd start like jamming along a bit and playing things, and then it'd be like, oh well, what about this? And then once you've got a feeling for like how it could sound and the world it's going to live in, then you start like really honing in on some of the details of like, oh, well, actually maybe this chord could go there, and maybe this break section could be added slightly because, you know, now that we're in this world, it'd be really cool if it goes a bit heavier here, or, you know, and so those discussions start coming from that. But so yeah, anyway, I feel like, you know, I think the songwriter and producers and everyone's role really is just to like get the song over the finish line, isn't it? And like, you know, feel as happy about it as you possibly can. And however you need to go about that, you should look at each song as its own thing, and not have like a fixed way that you're like, no, this is how I work and this is how I do it every time. It's like, nah, I don't feel like that's how it works. And it's really nice to be flexible and like a little bit on the hoof is great, which is why having a bit more of a technical background, as we were talking about earlier, that, you know, having that, some of those like tools in place really can help you with the songwriting side of it as well, because you can go, oh, but I'm hearing this, and all of a sudden your song could go from being like a little folk ballad to like a big epic, like, I don't know, Sigur Rós sounding, you know, thing that all of a sudden it's not folk in the slightest, and you think about it differently. And so but I just love it. That's why I feel like that's probably why I've got something like lots of different projects and stuff, because I like exploring different worlds. And like sometimes you start a world and you're like, this doesn't feel like it makes sense for that thing, so actually it's more like this. And then so it's nice to have that freedom, I suppose, or not freedom, but, you know, just outlet.
Versatility. Yeah. I wrote I've got two things to say on that. I remember when we were doing A Sun Going Down, and I've actually found a voice note, all the voice notes the other day, of like when I was writing the lyrics and trying to find melodies and stuff. And actually, the first thing I came up with, I think, was pretty close to the finished verse melody. But you know, when you listen to your own voice notes and it's kind of like, and you're like trying to find the melody. I was like laughing at myself. But I just felt like, you know, I don't know, even like 5 years ago, when I wasn't kind of used to co-writing with anyone else, before I started really kind of writing with other artists and other songwriters, you know, it maybe would have took me a whole afternoon to come up with even like one melodic line for the verse or chorus. And I found that when I'm being suddenly in that pressured situation makes you find the things that you like faster. And I remember, you know, when we wrote Devils, that was really quick. Like I think while you were jamming the chords, I think I came up with the whole verse and pre-chorus and the melody in like 10 minutes or something. And I just found that I'm gradually getting faster at finding the things that I like. It's not I'm just getting faster. It's like I know where to go to get that. Oh yeah, I like that. And I like the way that sounds. And that's very me.
I thought then from that, like, that would be one step probably too far. Like if you were to share your voice notes with fans, you know, because if you were sharing demos, imagine sharing voice notes.
Oh, well, I did that.
Did you?
Yeah, I did that, but with Patreon, because they're like my little proper like close knit fans.
Oh wow, amazing! No, it's really cool, like that part of the process.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's something really amazing about the way a voice note sounds.
Yeah, and when you were saying with Devils, when you were doing the you know, doing the verses quite quickly and stuff, I remember then I think you sent a voice note that you were like on the bus or something, and you were like, oh, I think this is...
I was on the tube.
On the tube, and you're like, oh, I had the idea for the chorus or whatever, and changed the chords and stuff, and then you came in the morning, and it was like, oh, and that's another thing with like being able to work on the fly and adapt to like, all right, okay, cool, yeah, that sounds great, let's go for it, and just, you know, slot it all together, and then from there you go like, oh yeah, and then this could happen, and then, you know, that's being able to bounce off each other quickly, but make those decisions that hopefully help you get to a point that you're both excited about, and or however many people are in the room, obviously.
Yeah.
And keeping working even after the studio session's finished. I find that a lot, like just before you go to sleep or whatever, you might go, that thing that I've been trying to solve all day and banging my head against the wall. Wow, I've actually... It
just comes, doesn't it?
Yeah. And then you can't sleep till like 4 a.m, so...
Yeah. I always do that. I always, when I come away from it, I solve it. You just solve it in your own head, don't you? I don't know whether you do this, but I'm like it doesn't matter where I am, because I remember, you just said I was on the tube when I was doing that, and I was actually singing quite loudly on the tube, and I just didn't care, because I was like, I just don't even know where I am. I'm just trying to solve this, and I don't even care. I don't know whether you ever do that, but I'm constantly doing that. Like if I'm buzzing about a melody or a tune, I will just sing it or play it. I just, regardless of my surroundings, which I think's quite funny.
I regularly, I could do that, like walking around the streets. If I suddenly have an idea or whatever, I'll just start singing it to my phone, or I'll leave myself a voice note to do something. You know, and it's so important, because you realise that you know, to not beat yourself up if you're not feeling that creative, or you're not finding a solution to something. You know that your brain is constantly ticking away in the background trying to figure out what it is, and it can pop out at the most random moment. But I mean, how many times have you gone, like, there's a great thing Tom Waits said on that there's a TED talk about creativity and the idea of like the genius, you know, like it being something external to you that like comes to you, you know, like inspiration visited me, or, you know, I think it's inspiration, she even said, you know, that's like breathing in, it's like coming from outside. And Tom Waits, like, famously is apparently sat in his car driving along, and he's in a traffic jam or whatever, and he suddenly gets this, like, the song starts coming to him, and he's like, no, not now, I'm driving, you know, like, and I remember hearing that, just being like, oh, that's so true. You know, if you're in a place where you can't record something, or you haven't got a pen or anything, but you try and remember, you know, and you're like, no, that's such, how do I, it's understandable that you just, like, get your phone out on the tube. It doesn't matter, like, people might think you're a bit of a nutter, but it's part and parcel.
Yeah. I've definitely written songs whilst driving before, 100%. Like, I find driving to be actually an amazing place to sing and, like, I don't know, just sort of solve things, because you kind of have to concentrate, but at the same time you're just in your own like little world. And like I find traveling really useful for that, actually, getting into that zone. I don't know, it's probably quite dangerous.
Well, the you know, recording on voice notes and stuff, on some ship stuff, like a beach in the middle of space, there's loads of like chopped up audio of voice notes from like cool. When, you know, the Vienna Orchestra that toured tuning up, and then he chopped it about and turned it into like basically a synth sound. And like Method to the Madness, there's loads of audio of like walking around, like gravel sounds, all these different things that like just voice notes like put into the session, chopped about, fucked with, added, you know, you add different effects and whatever. And it's like, that's what I was going to say before with the voice notes thing. There is a really cool sound that they've got that, you know, even like piano and stuff, like when, you know, used in the right way, it's got a very specific sound, because the microphone on phones obviously is like, you know, it doesn't get much low end. It sounds a bit like distorted and sometimes a bit like shit. But that can be like really cool mixed in together with maybe like a lusher sounding instrument, you know. Inspiration's everywhere, man.
Inspiration is everywhere.
It's all around us.
It's all around us. I mean, even on a sun going down. Do you remember when I was recording a take and you were doing that little do-do-do-do-do-do, and it captured it and put it on.
Yeah.
And that's just captured when I slammed the door of what you were playing.
Yeah.
But I love stuff like that. And on one of my singles from my last album, Pins, we used the demo, basically all of it, because I was so like non-production back then. Actually, no, that's a lie. I did my own demos and I thought they sounded great. But I did all the demos recording straight into the laptop mic. And like the first line of the song is obviously, you know, kind of taken just from that shit laptop demo that I did, which I just love. I think it sounds vibey as.
Yeah.
But you just forget, like, and it's that same thing as when you write a song that you love. It's always the fear that you have. It's like, I'm never gonna write again, never gonna write a good song again. But it's crap, isn't it? Because it's inside you
somewhere.
He lives in you.
Yeah. He lives in you.
He lives in you. Whenever I can get a Lion King quote in, I will. Any situation.
What a film! What a film!
I went to see it live, you know.
Did you? What, the Hans Zimmer stuff?
Wait, the musical?
Yeah. Oh, right. Sorry, the musical. No,
Yeah,
I saw Hans Zimmer perform, and he did like loads of stuff from like Inception and all the rest of it. We were on tour with the Wombats in Melbourne actually, and we had a night off. It was so epic.
Wow.
But then all of a sudden it was like,
I would die. I'd cry.
and honestly, the whole room just went like, like the actual guy that sang on the film, on the recording,
wow.
he came out and started
amazing.
that in this big arena in Melbourne, and it was just like, oh my god.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
What did he do with it then? Did he just arrange it? What was it? I'm intrigued now.
Hans Zimmer did like lots of the music as well,
right?
Which I actually didn't know, to be honest. But
I didn't know.
He had an orchestra and like loads of musicians on stage basically, and he just and then he got they just sang through like all the different songs from the films that he's worked on, and like I mean, can you imagine like Interstellar and stuff? Like it was just
man.
It was so moody and like epic, but it just mind blowing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'd love to have gone and seen that. Yeah, I went to see a musical just when it was touring, and I was like going mad because the vocals weren't loud enough.
Oh, right.
Like all the harmonies, I was like, I want to hear the harmonies like literally here, and then it's not loud enough.
Yeah.
If there was kind of like a live show that changed your life or that just blew your mind, aside from that one, what would it be? It can be one of your own, by the way.
Well, I was going to say, like the one that springs to mind from recent memory was we supported the Rolling Stones in New Jersey at this like stadium, and it was almost like an out of body experience, kind of,
Wow.
just meeting the guys before, and like the show was absolutely amazing as well. But I think it was more like seeing a group of guys who've like managed to keep doing music until they're like their mid to late 70s. And they still go on stage and give it 100%, like, and smash it out. And everyone's like got so many memories from so many decades all together with this music that they've made. I think that was one of the things that, like, I don't know. I really hope we get to like keep making music until we're that old.
Yeah. It's all on you though. If you want to, you can do it.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Playing some of our first album songs at the age of 75, I don't reckon my hips and knees would be able to cope with that, to be honest. by then, my wrists will just be like...
rickety, like creaking.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, no.
But that was really inspiring. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Amazing. You know what? Listening through the album, I forgot about Tongue Tied, which I absolutely love. And I forgot how much I loved it, because we don't play it live because it's really difficult to arrange because of all the different time signatures and there's like lots of drums. But I totally forgot about that one, because there's a few that aren't on the album that we've written as well, like the one about the phone lighting up at night. What's that one called? And I'm gonna make you.
Yeah, Moonlit Dials.
Moonlit Dials, that was it. I love that one.
Yeah, I really like that one as well.
Yeah, I love that one. That might be an EP one. But is there a favourite one that you have of the stuff that we've done together? I wondered. That was my question.
I think Take Me to Your Leader might be my favourite as well. I don't know. I mean, obviously I like them all, but like I think that one. Yeah. I don't know. I can't explain why. It just feels like it's some maybe that just slightly pokes its head above the others.
Yeah, me too. I think it's just a glorious amount of weird and pop that I love, like in equal amounts.
Yeah, and there's some not that I have a car, but like it's got that driving music feeling as well when it gets to the chorus, and I feel like the payoff of when it does just suddenly go to like it just goes straight again, like after having been weird. It's it's such a nice kind of like release rhythmically as well. That's the geeky drummer side of me probably, but like it is like an unusual release in that sense.
Yeah.
But and chordally as well, it suddenly goes to like major and like feels really like you like fall into the chorus like swimming in a big pool of silver or something.
Da, da, da. There's another one. I love writing things that people just don't expect, and I think odd time signatures is a big thing that I like playing with. But I remember when we were doing Sun Going Down, and I think because it goes to E and then the verse is like E flat.
Yeah.
And and I remember like you were just playing E for the verse, I think, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. I don't know why. And then you clocked and you were like, why is it what? And I just remember that was a really funny moment. It's like unexpected.
But I remember musically, I was like, because I was in this sort of like, in my head, it was kind of a bit like Tame Impala-y or something. I don't know what in my head, like with the bass, and I was like, and then all of a sudden when I realised that like what actually the chord was, I was like, that doesn't make sense to me. But then actually I was like, oh, that's really cool. But like I would never have like done that because it was just like I was when you hear something so differently, but then of course it makes perfect sense. And again, it gives the chorus a big lift. But that is it's an unusual key change, I guess.
Yeah, we like the unexpected.
Yeah, and it makes you go like, ooh, what's this?
Ooh, woohoo! Oh, let's not do that. No. Oh, amazing! When is the Wombats album coming out then?
It was supposed to be coming out fairly soon, but it's been pushed back because of COVID. So that was a bit shit. But
gives you more time to get ready.
Yeah, but it's mastered and done. I listened to it the other day and very happy. Can't wait to have it out and people to hear it. But we've got another song coming out in August at some point. I'm crap with remembering the dates, but it's all, after Methods of Madness came first, that was like a sort of, hey, we're back, see what you think. And then it's gonna, more songs are coming, and I'm really excited. There's it's pretty diverse genre-wise, and like I feel like it's slightly new sound. I mean, if Methods of the Madness feels like that's one of my favourite songs we've ever made.
That was really, really different, I think. I think it's really cool. I love the intro and the first couple of seconds. I had a question. What is the Gothic Quarter? Because I was like, that sounds like you could be talking about Liverpool.
Barcelona.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it's sort of Murph was on. I think it's about his honeymoon. Part of that.
Nice.
And then just like the outro when that kicks off live. I was like practicing the other day, like playing along, and I was just closing my eyes, like imagining the pit that's going to happen. I hope it's going to happen.
Of course, it's going to happen. That's so exciting.
Love a good mosh pit.
Yeah, I'll be there, giving it bones.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So it's coming out soon. That's good. Yeah, I look forward to hearing it, and I need to give you your vinyl, which is important.
Yes.
The vinyl must be delivered.
That'll be great.
Yeah, I can't wait. Honestly, you know what? I'm gonna do a little social media thing of taking the vinyl round to everyone who kind of worked on it, where I can.
Oh, brilliant.
So I just think that would be such a lovely thing, and it's nice to shout out people as well, isn't it? It's just so much love.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. Because so many people, like every album, so many people put so much time and effort into making it, and a lot of the time, I don't know, in a way I feel like if you've got like a solo artist or whatever, it's kind of like, which is good because the illusion of it just like this, it just appears and it just happens, but actually you've got like engineers, producers, mixers, masterers, like there's so many people along the way who've like helped guide it to the final.
So many.
No, so it's very nice when you to recognise that, obviously.
Yeah, it's just community, isn't it? Like your community of people that have made it happen, and like thinking about just the whole process of it is just so nice, because it's really like I felt like quite like really, it's really daunting releasing an album, because it's like, oh shit, it's finally happening, and like I can't believe it's out in 2 weeks, and I feel like totally unprepared, not from like an admin organizational point of view, but from like mentally, I'm like, shit, it's happening.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether you ever feel like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty bizarre.
And we just feel really excited to get it out. And I tend not to like, I don't know, I don't think I really think about whether critics or, or people, in general, I think it's kind of better just to like, you've just got to put it out there into the world and just
I don't
go
give
like,
a shit about that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and just go, well, this is what we wanted to make, or I wanted to make, whatever. And it is what it's there. Here you go. See what you think. And I don't know. I just love it, and like get some feedback from people, and they're like, oh, this sounds like rainy day music, or whatever.
Yeah. It sounds like the Cranberries. That was a comparison I got. I was like, I don't think I've listened to the Cranberries, but okay, fair. But it's mad when you get those comparisons where you're like, I've never listened really to that band, so that's quite interesting that's happened. So I'm looking forward to more insane comparisons. But no, I am super excited. But it's been a long time coming, and I suppose like the pressure you put on yourself is just extreme, isn't it? And it's just weird that it's finally out there, I guess. But yeah, super exciting.
Well, good luck with it.
Thanks so much. And yeah, I can't wait to hear Wombats and Sunship albums. And I know you've just released an album for Dan the Man, but have you been working on another one? Because I know how productive you are, so it's probably true.
Yeah, I've actually got a fourth Dan the Man one kind of through lockdown that's pretty close.
Amazing.
I'm figuring out what to do with it and when, and like, I think I'll just wait for a while and just keep making stuff, because with everything happening with Wombats and stuff, and like, I don't know, it's obviously I'm not necessarily gonna tour any of it anyway. It's just kind of like, but it's just nice to have it there, and so yeah, no, it's all my hard drive is just constantly getting filled up with shit.
Good shit. Good shit though.
Good shit.
I look forward to our gig in September.
Yeah, 19th of September.
19th of September. If you're in the Liverpool area, come down and see me and Dan playing some tunes.
Baltic Market. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been such a pleasure. Like, this has been amazing just to chat about everything. And thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yay! And yeah, all the best. And I'm sure that we'll see each other. We'll see each other in September, won't we?
Yes, we will.
To get a writing session in the back of the venue.
Yeah, there you go.
Quick, got 10 minutes. This is our challenge. 10-minute song, go.
Yeah, you've got to make it and then play it on stage. Whew.
Yeah, let's do that. That's way better.
Oh, that'd be stressful. God.
That's way better. Oh. No, just an a cappella thing. Yeah, nice one. Thank you so much, Dan.
Lovely.
And see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening, and don't forget to subscribe and follow to this podcast. I'm Natalie McCool, and you can find me and my music on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and also on my website, nataliemccool.co.uk. Thanks!